Hello, welcome to the third lecture in Meister Design for Extended Realities, mid-of-course module on extended reality and robotics. Today, we're going to look at fiction. We start with the simple question, what kinds of system are possible? One way to think about what's possible is to look at the dreams of the past from the perspective of fiction. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at a bunch of different examples. Some of those examples will incorporate both extended reality and robotics. Some of them will incorporate maybe just one or the other. In ancient myths, there's many stories about magical items that would allow us to do the kinds of things we're doing nowadays in extended reality, like to be able to see very far away or to talk with the deceased or to fly and stuff like that. There's also these very old stories about things that we would now call robots, these metallic humanoids that would serve the gods or protect people, or also would be created for love. Going to more modern times, the first movie that I know of that has robots is The Mechanical Man, and they're very much the way we imagine robots today, like these blocky mechanical things. Metropolis had this interesting idea about using robotics to resurrect the dead, somebody who died. This cartoon from the 70s called Doraemon is about this cat robot from the future shown in the center here. And it has these 4D pockets that it can use to pull out all types of crazy inventions that I think are relevant for this topic. For example, it has a bypass spyglass where you can look through things, which you can do with AR, XR stuff. It also had this 2D camera, which if you take a picture of something, you can reduce it to 2 dimensions, then expand it later when you want. The THX movie had holo broadcasts, holograms, and also these evil robot android police. Star Trek had this famous holodeck. Blade Runner incorporated this voice-commanded display tool that can modify images and lighting, and it also had these super realistic robots. And there was these questions like, what happens if we have such very human-like robots? Will they want the same things as we do? Will they also be impressed by beautiful things? Will they be scared to die? Stuff like that. Tron had this idea of virtual robot characters and using laser to scan somebody into this VR space and also hacking of such spaces. Knight Rider was maybe a predecessor to the autonomous vehicles we're starting to see today. And there's work being done on stuff like being able to see through parts on a car that you wouldn't normally be able to see. Brainstorm proposed this VR device that can record and play back experiences and emotions. Dreamscape and Inception were related to technology around dreams. There's also this story about a character who sees the passage of time through hourglass eyes, so everything he sees is impermanent and dying. Cherry 2000 was about a guy who was married to a robot, and when his robot breaks down, he wants to fix her, and so he goes to great lengths to do so. RoboCop talked about a resurrected human in a cyborg suit. Predator introduced these ideas of like seeing in different modalities that we can't normally see, like thermal and sensory transposition. Top Gun had this overlay, an AR overlay, showing also like missile locks and stuff like that. The cartoon Ghost in the Shell talked about some interesting themes, like this idea of could we digitally upload somebody's personality, their essence to the net, and then also cloaking. And it had these little robots, these little spider robots that would share memories. And my colleague in Japan is actually building sort of physical clones of this robot, this spider robot. Total Recall, they had this nice idea about implanting realistic false memories in somebody, and also being able to have some type of mask where you can't even tell that it's not real. Terminator 2, it had this augmented reality view of people where the robot's analysis is superimposed on that. Had this idea that robots could be like our parents, and this idea, what if we had a robot that had a fluid body that could assume any shape? The Lawnmower Man introduced the idea that virtual reality could be used for training and to become smarter. The Truman Show proposed this idea where a person's reality is simulated within an enclosed space using cinematographic technologies to mimic weather and stuff like that. The Matrix had this idea that we're living in a simulation and also featured VR goggles. Avatar and Surrogates featured tele-robotics. Then going to Black Mirror, which was a very interesting series, we have this example of like a virtual robot that could become maybe involved in politics. In a different episode, Hated in the Nation, we have these coordinated swarms of robot bees, this idea of being able to hack those and then even cause somebody's death from social media activity. Nosedive featured a contact lens that allows everybody to follow their social scores in real time through augmented reality. Then there was other episodes that included these ideas about technology as a means to allow people to be resurrected, to allow the dead to be alive, and digisexuality as well, that you can do things maybe in a virtual world that wouldn't be possible physically. Archangel had this showed this idea of diminished reality in this overprotective mother is hiding stuff that she doesn't want her daughter to see, and this use of technology to monitor and censor. So I hope there were some interesting ideas maybe there for you. If you know about any movies or books or something that you think had an interesting idea that wasn't mentioned here, very welcome to mention it to me. Then otherwise, we see each other at the next lecture. See ya.